from the oldest city in the USA, St. Augustine tonight, with our guest, Mayor Nancy Sikes-Kline, Ayolane Amy, Dr. Meet Patel, and musical guest, Raisin Cake Orchestra. With your host, Jorge Rivera.
I knew you had a breakfast. I knew you had a hearty breakfast this morning. Good to have you here. Today's October 21st. We have a wonderful show. We have a wonderful orchestra, probably one of my favorites. And so it'll be a great show. I was looking at the news this morning, and in South Africa, a lion that was being transported found the opening in the trailer and he jumped out and left. And so, I guess if you see a poster of a missing kitty, that would be the wrong poster to look at. So it's very, very powerful incident. They found the lion at the end, and they were able to shoot a dart, put him to sleep, and then he was taken back. I guess they're taking him to a game place where I guess some billionaire is going to hunt him and have his head on a trophy. I would escape too if I had a chance. So that's how it usually works. And also saw in Madrid, they have this festival. I know a lot about Spain, but I didn't know that in Madrid they celebrate this goats and sheeps. When you had shepherds that used to work them and they used to graze them, and everything was natural. So every year they have this thing where all these goats and sheep go to the city of Madrid. And it's to bring people to understand that using the old processes of working with animals is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Also, there was a woman, very funny, she saw the number 29000, 29000, and she saw it on an airplane. And then she was eating cashews out of a little pack, and there was the number, 29000. So she went and played the number in a lottery and hit $250,000. So yes, those are some of the things that happen. But talking about buying things, I get so frustrated when I go to the supermarkets now because, right now they have us not only scanning our own food, but also putting it in bags, so we're taking over a job and we're paying extra money for the groceries, so it kind of doesn't make sense. But what I hate the most is when you're going to pay, every store has a different platform. So you look at the screen and you're trying, where do I touch? And then what they try to do is, like a Kirby vacuum cleaner guy, stick their foot in and try to upgrade. Would you like to upgrade? Would you like to be a member? Would you like to save 50% next time? And all I want to do is just pay and go home, take my bread and milk. But those are some of the challenges that we have every day. I'd like to invite our band, the Raisin Cake Orchestra, to come up, please. If you haven't listened to this orchestra or this band, they are awesome. I had them on my third show, and it was at that time at Garrett Furniture Store. Anyone went to that show there? Oh wow, quite a few of you went there. That was a great show. When I met Garrett, I had just come out of the hospital. I looked horrible, and I remember Lee Weaver, bless his heart. Let's give him a hand wherever he is up in that house. Lee Weaver said, you gotta come to my house, bring your mama, bring your chihuahua, and come over and have dinner. And so I went, and I was sitting there having my little dinner. It was a great gathering. Lee just had so many wonderful friends, mostly in the fields of art and theater and things like that. And Garrett came over and said, Jorge, yeah, I want you to come and do the show in my store. And I was looking for a sign, believe it or not, should I do a season 3? And he said, I'm going to build you these Ellen DeGeneres sets that are to kill for. And he did. If you saw that show, Every show was just amazing, and I'll always thank Mr. Garrett for that. But right now, here they are. I'm going to leave you with the Raisin Cake Orchestra. the chain, bro. Okay, they'll be back.
Located on 62 Cunha Street in St. Augustine, the Modern Rose Café celebrates Maria Antoinette's colorful and playful spirit. This is evident in the café's decor, which features furniture, paintings, tableware, and other assorted curiosities. The menu promises a feast for the eyes and palate. The café has a wide selection of teas and coffees, including organic blends, and serves brunch all day with an abundant selection of vegan meals and desserts, as well as gluten-free options. You never know who might come through the doors of the Modern Rose Cafe. You might be pleasantly surprised. Please come and join us.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a mischievous person, so I had a surprise for my son for several months, and my son lived in France all his life, and so I kept telling him today, it's going to be an incredible evening. He kept looking at me, what is he talking about? It's going to be an incredible evening. He said, yeah. Well, the incredible evening, his mother flew from France, and she's here right now. Let's give him a hand. And also his cousin Marion. So Rachel and Marion are in America, from France. Viva la France. Thank you for that Statue of Liberty, by the way. So it's nice they're here. My guest is the Mayor, Nancy Sikes-Kline. Give her a hand. Yes. And so, yes, a show full of surprises. I thank you. I thank you for being on the show. So far, we're hitting a record. We've had them all. We've had Tracy Church. We've had Bowles. We've had Nancy Shaver. We've had Gardner. May he rest in peace. So now we have you. Yay. It's great. No, it's great to know the person who's sort of the general in charge of our forces here in the city. And it's always a challenge. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a Florida girl.
Yes, I was born in West Palm.
West Palm.
I spent an early part of my life in Lakeland in Central Florida.
Okay. And then you went to school?
Tampa. I went to high school in Tampa.
Okay.
And then I went to Gainesville and went to college in Gainesville. And after that, I came to St. Augustine.
Oh, wow.
So I've been around.
Yes, but in the state of Florida. Okay. And
Just a Florida girl.
Yeah. I mean, this state has changed so much. Everywhere. It's just everywhere you go in the state, you just see. It looks like those cartoons, dun dun dun, da 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 dun. They're just building and building. And even St. Augustine, I've been in St. Augustine 20 years. And I remember when I got here, you could probably take a nap on US 1.
It was quiet.
At a certain time of the day. Now,
quiet.
That is not possible.
No,
Yes.
Having family in South Florida, I didn't, necessarily live there, but having family there and visiting family, I did get an opportunity to see what happens with tremendous growth.
Right.
And when I came to St. Augustine, I thought, it's not too late to save St. Augustine.
Right.
I did truly believe that.
Yes.
And it's been an interesting ride. When I came, it was 41 years ago.
Right.
After I graduated college, I worked on the Lighthouse Project. We talked a little bit about that in the Save Our Bridge Committee, and working on trying to save the character and the history and the architecture of St. Augustine. I think we've done a pretty amazing job considering the pressure that we've been under.
Yes.
But I think St. Augustine has changed tremendously.
Yes.
Tremendously. The area here around, the urban area around St. Augustine is now about 107,000 people.
Wow.
We don't realize it, but even though the city itself has really only got about 17,000. Right. In the city limits. Right. But the urban area around it is quite large.
And if we talk about the county, oh my God. I step out into the county and they're just cities being built around us. It's unbelievable.
So, now, and you were just right in the middle of that.
Right. Now your first, what was your first inkling into politics?
Oh gosh, I just didn't even think about it for years until I was at a reception years and years ago. My kids were still little, and I was talking to Representative Hamilton Upchurch, Tracy's dad.
Yeah, Tracy Upchurch's father.
Dad. And he said, we need young people in politics. Have you considered running for political office? And I said, never. I didn't think about that. And he said, well, I think you should. And if you do, let me know a couple years ahead of time. You got to start, early and get your name out. And,
Right.
and I'll be happy to help you with that. And I
Right.
said, well, thank you. And I didn't think too much of it because my kids were still young. But
Right.
when my kids got into school and I had more time on my hands,
Right.
then, older in school,
Right.
I had more time on my hands, and I said yes. I served on a lot of committees, and I thought, okay, now's my chance.
Okay.
So in 2008, I ran the first time.
Oh,
So I've been
okay.
here ever since.
Right, and you ran for commissioner.
Commissioner.
Right, and now this is
And now I'm mayor. In my
second term. Let's give her a hand,
Second.
please. Please. And so I guess if you have anyone, whether it's the mayor of St. Augustine or the governor of Illinois or whatever, I guess the question is, what are the challenges? Have you seen any of the challenges that the city has had through the years get better?
Oh yeah, they always do. They have their ups and downs. Homelessness we're in better shape with homelessness, I believe, now than we've ever been since I've been a commissioner or mayor. In fact, next week we're going to be cutting the ribbon on the Dining with Dignity program facility over behind on US corner of Old Moultrie and 207, facility that the city has acquired there.
Okay.
And I think that we have a wonderful resource officer that works full-time with the homeless now, and I think they've made a really big difference.
Right.
That staff person, a sworn officer but not armed.
Right. And he
on
tries,
the streets every day.
Right, and he tries to connect. I think when we were talking, he tries to connect that homeless person with family.
Family. The first thing they do is what we call the family reunification program, and that is to try to find them home to their family, which is where they're going to be best off.
Right.
And the city will fund getting them there.
Right.
But there has to be a family member there to take them.
Right.
And be willing to take responsibility for them. So that's the first requirement.
Right.
And if they can meet that requirement, then they're willing to go, we will get them home.
Wow.
And that's been a great process. So,
Right.
but then there were, homelessness is as complicated as
It's
every
nationwide.
individual. It's like a snowflake.
Yeah.
Every person is like a unique issue.
Yeah, a snowflake.
So it's a
different snowflake.
like a
Yeah,
different,
yeah.
beautiful
Yeah,
creation.
right.
And so they come with their own set of challenges, and it's very labor intensive. So
Right.
it just takes time, but I think we're in great shape. I think we've got a really good approach.
Right. And now, I remember when I had Mayor Gardner. He was a long time ago. I think in the 90s.
Oh,
I think.
yes, he was a
I
mayor
remember
for a while.
in one of the shows I said, so if I said one of the problems in St. Augustine is traffic and parking, and the whole audience just started laughing, because it was in the 2000s when I'm doing this interview. So all those years, still the challenge is because you can't make the streets bigger.
Well, it's a 16th century street
Exactly.
system. It was
Right.
built for horses and pedestrians, not even necessarily, maybe carts. you
Right,
know.
right.
So blame the Spanish, right?
Yeah, blame Madrid.
Blame them.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's always going to be a challenge. It'll always be a challenge. And of course, Americans, we talked a little bit about this. It's, the solution is to try to get people to park and then ride a shuttle in,
Yes.
or park once at least,
Yes.
and then walk.
Right.
But we in America, and our culture is so we're structurally dependent on our automobiles.
Everything.
Literally.
When I lived in
dependent on
Europe
our
and told
automobiles.
people that in America people banked out of their cars, they looked at me like I was an alien from another planet. What? Yeah. And I told them, even in LA, you have funeral homes that actually put the dead guy by a window and you can drive by and do one of these and drive by. And they were like, no. Yeah, we are car freaks. We
really are.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about almost everywhere in this country where you live in your subdivisions or your HOA or whatever, which is becoming most of America now.
Right.
You need your car to get to work. You need
Everything.
your car to get to the doctor. You
Everything.
need your car to get to school. You need to get your car to get your groceries and your
Right.
food, your very
Right.
basic necessities. And that's what I mean when I say we're structurally dependent on our automobiles.
Yeah,
So we need a cultural shift, and I don't know
when it's going to happen.
Americans are pretty resistant to transit.
Yes.
But I think in the future, eventually, we will adapt and change.
Find a way.
So we need to.
Yeah, because I find in cities in Europe that are also very old, and if you're in Florence, you don't really see traffic, and it's because anyone who comes to visit, the millions that come there, they're pushed outside the city to these. It's like when you go to Disney World, right?
Yeah.
You park and then they say, remember, it's Goofy, you're at Goofy, you know, and you, oh yeah, Goofy, yeah, so you don't get lost.
Or you take a picture now.
You take a picture, know exactly where you're at. And so that's how the people didn't just walk through the streets. And so, yeah, the Italians are in their little Fiat Cinquecento and their little Vespas, but you don't see because Night of Lights is coming.
Oh, yeah. And you know, for the first time, we're messaging that this is not an event to drive through.
Good.
It's an event to drive to a parking lot,
Exactly.
get in a shuttle and ride
Yes.
and then walk around. It's a walking event. So don't load the kids in the car with the dog and say, let's go look at the pretty lights. It doesn't work that way anymore.
Right. Even the Fort Mose Jazz Festival.
Oh, yes,
people
the
go
shuttles.
and it's
and it works
smooth.
fine. It works fine.
Yes, people go, they park in, you know, down here on Sebastian View, and there are all these vans that bring them in, and they have, you know, and I think it's great. No, so this time, the Night of Light starts when exactly?
The 15th of November. It's a little earlier this year.
Okay, and it goes till?
January 11th.
All right.
So it's a little bit shorter.
Right. It's so beautiful. I tell people, people say to me, describe the Night of Lights. And I say, imagine you had this beautiful Christmas tree and you could become small and walk inside, you know, through the ornaments and the lights.
That's a beautiful way.
And that's how it feels, that you're inside the Christmas tree with all the ornaments. Some people really go over the top, though. Even in Halloween, now they're putting these giant skeletons that scream at you when you go by. It's kind of funny. It's right. It's scary. The dogs are having a hard time in my neighborhood.
Like the cats. I like the little black cats.
Yes. So
I like the unscary Halloween.
Well, what do you see the future of St. Augustine? I mean, when St. Augustine now talks about, because next year is our 250th.
Yes. There'll be a lot of events around that. We have, we've invited the ambassador from Spain, Spanish ambassador, to come and visit us and talk to us. And of course, we want to take her to Fort Mose. We brought up Fort
that'll
Mose.
be fun.
We want to take her there because we think it's a very important part of Spanish colonial history.
Yes.
Very interesting and not well known.
No, even I lived in Puerto Rico in my teens, and I remember I knew St. Augustine. They taught it in school very much because in Puerto Rico they teach the Spanish Empire. Here it starts with the Pilgrims, and which is in the 1600s. So the joke here always is, when the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock, we were doing renovations.
That's
you know,
right.
and it's
2 generations.
Exactly.
We're 2 generations.
Well, exactly. So I knew about St. Augustine, but I did not know that the Spaniards gave freedom to the blacks that were able to leave the slave system of Britain and cross into St. Augustine, and that was one of the places where they served in the military and lived their lives.
Slavery was a different system in the Spanish system than it was in the British system, and they could earn their freedom. They could keep their families together.
Right.
If they had children, they could keep them together. You know, things like that. If they were married, they could stay together.
Yeah, have a little more compassionate.
Not still slavery, but
right. But there was some caveats.
More dignity.
Yes. And so now, does St. Augustine? How is St. Augustine dealing with all the flooding? Because it becomes more challenging with climate change. You know, because I remember when I came here 20 years ago, there's places that flood now that did not flood then. Yeah. And if they did flood then, it was like a 1/4 inch water, not water up to here. Yeah. So what is the city on that? How does it look?
Well, we have a large study, Army Corps of Engineers. I can credit Nancy Mayor Shaver for getting us started with that. These things take so long. But it's a large study to look at the entire city in one comprehensively as one. And what are the solutions? And don't put limits on, don't put blinders on, just think out of the box. What can we do? And they will be very soon coming to us. The Army Corps has been working on this with some of these solutions.
Plans.
So that, you know, right now we're in the planning stage. We do have the Lake Maria Sanchez drainage project that we're slowly working through, which will help with the sunny day flooding in about 200 acres of downtown.
Okay.
Our most precious historic resources are, you know, downtown.
All right.
So we're going to try and, you know, address that. But yes, it's complicated and it's time consuming, and I'm afraid we're a little bit behind on it.
Not only us, I think the whole country is. And hopefully we'll wake up.
Somewhat in denial still
I know.
about it until you've really been through it yourself, you know?
Yeah. Well, some people are stubborn. You know, they won't believe. Their last words will be, "Oh, I don't believe in climate," you know, as they drown.
It's one of those things. Until it happens to you,
Right.
you just can't imagine.
Right. Exactly.
You cannot imagine.
When you see your house that's been there 100 years be swept away, you know.
Or you see 4 feet of water in it.
Yeah.
And all your stuff is ruined and on the curb.
It's floating around you. That was a nice dining room table.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
So I think that we're doing what we can as a government, but I think that like there are folks like myself that elevated already. There are elevations going around for people that have the resources.
I see houses going up all the time.
So we're going to do. So there's 3 strategies: adapt, defend, and retreat to this problem. And I think we'll be doing, a combination of those.
All right.
I've adapted. So we've elevated our house. We're at 10.5 feet. We live on the island. We really we suffer with our neighbors.
Yes, David Shores
we
has
don't
been
get
like
hit with the water, but we see
Yes.
our neighbors suffer.
Yes.
So we suffer along with them.
Yes.
So we'd like to see solutions for all of us.
Right. Well, I thank you for coming on, and thank you for your stewardship of this city, and thank you for everything you do. And I'm glad that you said yes when I invited you to the show.
I am too.
And let's give
been
Nancy
nice.
Shaver a hand, please. And we'll be back after these messages. Here we are at Augie's Pizza. Look at that. Look at that pasta. Yes, you call dough pasta in Italian. That's the salsa. Oh my God, look at that. Now comes the formaggio, the cheese. Look at that mozzarella. Oh, we're going for the pepperoni here. La salchicha, yes, the sausage. Olives. Oh my God, this is the supreme. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, La Suprema. Oh, maestro, give it the cut. This is beauty, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this, huh? Look at this. Are you ready for Augie's Pizza? I am. El maestro here. Look at that. This is art, my friends. So, you know where to be. Augie's Pizzeria on King Street. Take this home, or you can eat it here. See you later. Well, here we have our next guest. Let's give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. We have Ayolane and Amy, and the reason I have them on the show, I talked to them several months ago, they're working on a board game. Well, it's board, interactive, a little bit of everything, but it's a game that takes place in St. Augustine in the 1700s during the American Revolution. And that makes it amazing. So tell us, let's start with you, Amy. Tell us a little bit about this game. How did you guys come up with the idea of this game?
So the idea was actually years in the formation. We used to run a book club together, and we were doing the Bartram's Travels on the St. Johns River.
Yes.
And we were reading the book. And
Let me stop you right there.
Yes.
Tell the people who Bartram is really, really quick so they don't.
Go ahead.
You want me to tell?
Yes.
William Bartram is kind of known as the first American-born naturalist.
A naturalist.
Yes.
First American-born naturalist.
Well, his father had the royal title of the royal botanist from the king.
Oh, wow.
And so having a title like that, he had to do something.
Right.
So he grabbed his son, and they went from Pennsylvania all the way to Florida, and they, looked for plants, they looked for species. His son was an amazing drawer.
Okay.
And really a poet, too.
Okay.
And came through. And then William Bartram was sanctioned to come through again.
Okay.
They did the whole St. John's River. And
right.
He really loved
Yeah, there's this big area in St. Augustine now called Bartram, and a lot of people don't know. I know who he was, but I wanted them to know. So keep on. So on Bartram.
So we were reading the book, and we were looking at the timeline of the book, and realized, wait a minute, all of this was going on during the American Revolution. And not once in the travels of the St. John's do they actually mention the American Revolution. And we're like, how did that happen?
Which is the book that he wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me stop you right there. For those who don't know, you know that St. Augustine was under Spanish rule, but Spain lost St. Augustine to England for about 20 years.
Right.
And those 20 years ended when the Continental Army destroyed the British. And so Spain got its territory back. And there's a long story of why Spain had to give St. Augustine to the British, and we're not going to go into that because we only have 15 minutes. Okay, but go ahead.
So that was kind of like the seed, the first time we started thinking about it. And then several years later, we were playing these series of board games that were based on different historical events that happened in cities throughout the world. Like there's one about where you're trying to escape the plague. There's one with pirates. There's all of these other ones. And we're like, this is a fun series of games. And we were looking on the website, and they were soliciting ideas. And we're like, you know what, we're smart people. We can make up a game. Years later, we're still trying to figure it out, but that's how it got started. And we were trying to think of what's an interesting time period and what's an interesting location. St. Augustine is interesting. And as far as the time period, we kept going back a little bit. Like we didn't want to do anything with World War II, not World War I. There's feelings about the Civil War. And then we get to the American Revolution, and we're like, that's an interesting time period. Because as you mentioned, St. Augustine was under British rule for only about 20 years.
Right.
And most people don't realize that at all. And that's how it got
much it
started.
actually played in the whole revolution, too. I mean, people
Right.
don't realize how big of a role.
Spain was unbelievable. We think of France and Lafayette, but Spain had as much power and the decision of us being a free country, and it's so kept secret. For them it was because they were in total clash with the British.
And the British could have overthrown a huge part of it. They were stockpiling weapons, right?
Yes, yes.
And that's part of the premise of the game.
Some of the first guns that the Patriots used were supplied by Spain. People don't know so much about that part. Yes. So now the game takes place, those 20, well, really during the American Revolution. How is the game played?
Go ahead.
Well, we have these different buildings, famous buildings that are still here in St. Augustine.
Yes.
We tried to get it as close to historically accurate as possible. And we have different characters. Do you want to talk about some of the characters?
Well, we did a lot of research.
These are real characters.
Yeah,
They were really here.
So everybody that you can play in the game is a character who was in this area during 1776, 1775 area.
All right.
And so these are all very well known and some quite famous, like William Bartram. You can play William Bartram in the game.
Okay.
And part of this is we're trying to figure out if British is stockpiling arms. And we need to get the word to George Washington. We need to get the word that this is happening, you know, and they were, and there were spies, and there were letters that were sent where received the notice of that.
Is this the beginning of American spies?
Pretty much in a way.
Oh,
and
wow.
so we don't know if any of these famous characters were spies or not, but we don't know who the spies were at the time.
But there were spies and information was getting in and out.
Right. So you're searching the city is the basic idea for ways to write a secret message to get the message out that yes, they're stockpiling weapons. And you're trying to avoid the night watch guards, you're trying to evade, capture. There's all kinds of things that happen in the game. But some of the funnest parts of the game is the scenarios. So you may enter a building as William Bartram in a school, and school is happening, and they may ask William Bartram a question, and you have to basically get your peers have to agree that that was a pass or a fail. So they might have a question about maybe Adam and Eve. Bartram, what's your idea as a scientist? What's your idea about Adam and Eve? And so you may act out or say whatever it is that is your answer, and it could be, you know, historically relevant or not, doesn't matter. And your peers get to say, yes, that was a good answer. So you got in the building.
So this has a little bit of Dungeon and Dragons.
Yes,
100%.
Is there a dice? Do you throw dice in this
Yes.
game?
Dice.
There are dice.
Yes.
Do you have a board?
We have boards. Yeah.
Well, we have buildings that you patch together into the playing field.
Oh, okay, like tiles.
Yeah.
You can arrange it however you want.
How many people can play?
6 people.
I think maximum was 6.
Manageable.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
6 people. But you can, it's at least low as 3.
All right. How long does the game last?
Well, that was kind of funny because when we started, it just would go on and on and on.
It went on too long.
5 hours later.
There's mathematical
Yeah.
equations with all these cards and dice and everything. And so
Right.
we ended up figuring out around, it could be as quick as 15 minutes. It could be as long as 45 minutes.
So you had to adapt. As you played the game, you saw the failures of some parts of
Oh,
it.
yes.
You say, well, this is not working very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is genius. And you play. So how
we
do...
learned a lot about game development. It is unbelievable.
I bet.
How it works.
I bet. I grew up with Parcheesi, Chinese checkers, Monopoly,
Right.
the Game of Life. Yeah, there was a time where American families played board games all the time, man.
Right.
And that is less and less. It's so
There
sad.
are more board games now that are more serious and more geeky and a little bit more intense. And we've been trying to bridge that between, like you said, the Dungeons and Dragons crew with Monopoly, like trying to find the sweet spot in the middle. So you get a little bit more deeper than you would with Monopoly, but you also aren't too intimidating where you're thrusting people straight into role-playing games.
And how do you win?
You find all the pieces and you have the final battle.
You have a final battle.
Oh yes,
You have to
absolutely.
make it out of the city.
Yes.
And there's guards most of the city.
All
so
right.
There's a scenario that happens that you have to get through the city.
Okay, so is this game available?
Not yet.
It's soon.
2026.
Well,
this
okay.
is The Secrets of St. Augustine, 1776. So
Yeah.
we have a
Right.
We got a deadline.
Bingo. Just hit me. Yeah. That'd be awesome because not only because this is one thing we were discussing. If you're a history buff, this is fantastic. But if you know nothing of history, through the game, you're going to learn stuff you had no idea of St. Augustine.
Yep. And that's
in
part
that
of it,
period.
is we want people to learn who these people are.
Right.
You know, who's Jesse Fish? Who is Dennis Rolls? Who is Nancy Wiggins? Who are
Wiggins.
these famous people in this area that may have not been really given the stage they should have been given?
Was it you who told me that sometimes a spy would write a message on a boiled egg?
Yeah.
Well, there's that, and you can take, I mean, you can do this at home, but you can take lemon juice and write it, and then hold it over a flame, and it will heat up, and the lemon juice will show what you just
What you wrote.
If it's not, it will actually blend in and be invisible.
Oh, that's-
literally invisible.
That's a great idea to write checks.
All of these things,
Who takes
all
checks?
these things were research that we did a lot of research to
Yeah.
see
Right.
they were using.
Yes, you showed me a
Yeah.
bunch of books that you guys had
That's right.
gone into, and it was years, as you say, took you to do this. Well, hopefully we will put your website when this goes on, when I edit it and it goes on our YouTube channel, and I'll put where people can visit your website. But definitely keep me informed when that first board game, I hope I'm an honorary member to get
Yeah, I
a
think
first
you
board
are.
game, and try to play it at home with my friends. Well, yeah, I do have friends, yes. And so that would be fun. That would be fun. I thank you so much.
You want to tell them the website?
Yes. So it is theunexpectedturn.com.
Theunexpectedturn.com.
And we left cards up at the front table if you want to grab it. It's got our website and our
There are
contact
cards
information. Stickers too.
and stickers too. Yes, please support your local people.
We also think
I
that-
struggle with
I
that,
also
man.
think that this will be the first St. Augustine board game, at least from the research that we've done. There's never been a
Wow.
board game
Yeah, because they're
created.
coloring books and stuff like that. But a game that you can actually get into the history
That's right.
in the period of our independence is awesome. Is awesome. Let's give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Takes a lot of things. We're going to stay right here first. We're going to take a recess. We've had the opportunity that Paladar, a Cuban bistro on the beach, is bringing hors d'oeuvres in the back. Please go back there and enjoy while we take a small recess of about 10 to 15 minutes and set our cameras and stuff like that. And thank you again. And let's give them one more hand, ladies and gentlemen.
And we'll come back with the Raisin Cake Orchestra from our recess.
Located on 62 Cunas Street in St. Augustine, the Modern Rose Cafe celebrates Maria Antoinette's colorful and playful spirit. This is evident in the cafe's decor, which features furniture, paintings, tableware, and other assorted curiosities. The menu promises a feast for the eyes and palate. The cafe has a wide selection of teas and coffees, including organic blends, and serves brunch all day with an abundant selection of vegan meals and desserts, as well as gluten-free options. You never know who might come through the doors of the Modern Rose Cafe. You might be pleasantly surprised. Please come and join us.
So now I leave you with Raisin Cake Orchestra.
back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with what I call a slider, which is a small interview. We have Isela, and later we have Lisa Lockhart, and a director of a opera that's coming to Jacksonville. We'll talk about that. So you had the hors d'oeuvres. This is one of the people responsible. Give her a hand.
Thank you. Thank you.
So nothing like something as delicious as that. You had empanadas, you had little Cuban sandwiches.
Yes, and little
you had
pastelitos.
plantains, pastelitos, which are
Guava
the dessert.
cheese.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Now, you guys, the name of your establishment is Paladar.
Paladar Cuban Eatery.
Okay. Now, how long has that been there in Crescent Beach? How long has that been there?
Paladar was started in March 24th, 2022, so we've been there about 3.5 years now.
Wow, wow.
Yes.
You guys do also live events there, music?
We do. We also have another location called Nostalgia by Paladar, which is where our commissary is located. And right in the front of it, we have a room where we do events. So we have maybe guests, about 50 guests. So we do all kinds of tea parties, luncheons, bridal showers, baby showers. We do all kinds of stuff. So we have 2 locations so far, and then we have the next one coming up.
And so now what gave you the idea to start this place?
So, okay, Nellie and I, which is my business partner, she's back there hiding.
She doesn't like the spotlight.
We empty nested in 2019, and then COVID hit, and we all decided that, we needed to get out of the house. And I came from Miami, so I have a background of 18 years in catering and event planning in Miami, one of the large companies in Miami. So I thought I had retired, and she pulled me right back in again, and we decided that we wanted to share our culture with the people in St. Augustine, and we wanted to bring our roots. And Paladar, what it is a home of our homemade Cuban cuisine that our grandmothers and our mothers taught us. So everything in Paladar is scratch made. Including the pork.
if you go there, you'll be back many times. From the coffee to the pastries to the sandwiches, all these things they have there. It's busy, it's full. It's really, rocking from the moment they open the doors to they close. So you got to be patient sometimes. Like I've been there Sunday mornings. And,
oh yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much. You left business cards and things?
Yes, we did. And we want to make one more announcement, which is we're opening our 3rd location, which will be this, actually just coincidentally starting in Nights of Light season in 47 Cordova. So we'll be there ready to serve up that Cuban coffee. Thank you.
And while we're making announcements, I wanted to announce that Ayolane, who is here with the whole thing of the game board, also Discovery Channel, is now approached him to do something with his kayak tours in the area. So you might see him on the Discovery Channel. Let's give him a hand. Thank you, my friend. Bringing St. Augustine to the forefront.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you for having us.
I just had a little bit because I don't like to eat much when I'm doing the show, but whatever I grabbed was absolutely delicious.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with our next.
Gracias.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our second short slider, and please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lisa Lockhart. A lot of you, I think, know me. I do a lot of singing around here. I work with First Coast Opera. I do concerts for the Romanza Festival. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen me around. I want to introduce my friend here. This is Dr. Darryl Reuben Hall. We're putting on a production of the wonderful Gershwin opera Porgy and Bess. With his company, he founded a company in Jacksonville, if you haven't heard of it, called Stage Aurora. They do a lot of great work there. We just had a gala. It was how many years?
25 years.
25 years we're celebrating. So when he asked me to do this Porgy and Bess, I was so excited. I've done Porgy and Bess many times throughout Europe and around the country. And actually, We first met doing it together at New York City Opera in 2002.
At Lincoln Center,
At
yes.
Lincoln Center, yes.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
And so this opera is when?
It's November 7th and 8th. It's at Florida State College at Jacksonville campus, November 7th and 8th, and there are 3 performances. So there, I know that you're coming from St. Augustine. There's a 2 p.m. matinee performance and then a 7 p.m. performance on Saturday. That Friday night, there's a 7 p.m. performance.
Wow, wow. And Porgy and Bess is one of those Gershwin where he combines sort of classical with jazz.
Oh, yes.
And,
you'll recognize some of the arias. Summertime. It ain't necessarily so.
Yeah, it ain't necessarily, yes.
Bess,
yes.
I love you. You is my woman now. All of those. So,
but it's such a heartbreaking opera, you know? It is just such a heartbreaking opera.
It's a love story.
Yes.
It's filled with drama. It's filled with murder. It's filled with a lot of good music, though.
Lots of
But there's
passion.
some fun moments too, some lighter moments.
Hilarious. Yes, yes.
And so the dates again, November
7th and 8th in Jacksonville, and you can go to our website. The organization is Stage Aurora Theatrical Company, and that's STAGEAURORA.org. StageAurora.org, and our box office number is 904-765-7373, and I have these to pass out to you.
All right, good. So, yes, well, thank you both, and please pass those flyers.
Yes.
Yes, support the arts, people.
Yes.
As long as they're here. And,
Yes.
And I wanted to throw in, not sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that if you're not an opera person, this is the perfect opera to come to, because some people call it a musical because it is in English, it's an American piece, and it has those jazz influences. So if you're thinking, oh, opera, I don't know, this is the perfect one to come to for your first opera.
Yes.
And also, starring in the role of Porgy is Mr. Edwin Jamal Davis. He has an amazing bass baritone voice, and he was last at the Metropolitan Opera in X, The Life and Times of Malcolm X.
Oh, wow.
So he's amazing. His voice is, you would really be blown away. And then as Bess, we have Kenethia Miller, who is actually from Central Florida, and she's a Grammy winner.
Okay.
So, yes.
Well, thank you for warning them about his voice. I'll
Yes.
make sure I'll drink my wine in a plastic cup.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you both
Thank
very
you.
much. Let's give them a hand.
Thank you, Jorge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, I have with me someone very special. He's worked on me. His name is Dr. Meet Patel. He is a chiropractor. The reason I brought him to the show is because, you know, everywhere I go, I see him. Everywhere I go. He's on buses, he's on posters, he's on billboards. It almost looks like El Generalissimo Patel is running the town. So it means he's very popular for a reason. And I thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Now you've been a chiropractor for how long now?
11 years.
11 years.
Yes.
And did you know you wanted to be a chiropractor?
No, actually, when I went to school, a lot of things that the school teaches, they tell you not to adjust people. And so it's getting frustrating because you study all day and then you never get to adjust anybody till the clinical hours. So in the middle of the program, I was about to quit. And then I see this guy walking in suit and BMW. I'm like, and he's an instructor. I'm like, what is he doing right? And in reality, it's college student life. Like when you practice around a college, the chiropractors around the town, they don't make as much back in Davenport. So I'm like intrigued about this person. Then I let go. And then I went again, and I saw his face again on a flyer. He did extremities.
Extremities, meaning?
Extremities. Anything besides the spine, he knew how to move it.
Your arms, your legs?
TMJ, you name it. I mean, any bone there is there, he can move it.
He can move it.
He can move it.
That sounds a little, yes.
It is.
Yes.
So that kind of intrigued my mind. So after school, I usually go, I took a seminar, upper extremity, made sense what he said. I didn't have to memorize anything, and I loved it. And then I became his intern. The biggest savior of the chiropractic world was I learned a lot from him because he taught how to do each angle. the first thing I learned was how not to kill people, which is simple. Okay, the way you do it, the way the angle that he taught other chiropractors how to do it. So I helped him teach other chiropractors how to do it in seminars.
Okay.
So that made me more aware of what people don't know, what chiropractors still don't know, because sometimes when you get into the routine of chiropractic world, you stick in one section. This is your way.
Do you think people sometimes trust a chiropractor a little too much, not knowing him at all, really?
I think, yes and no, but it's like, don't let, what happens is when chiropractor gets a bad rep of having adjustment or bad adjustment, breaking a rib or stuff like that, that happens only when they're moving too fast.
Okay.
And so everything needs to slow down. Like for example, for me, anytime I adjust, the table always goes up at my height level, because where my angle, my arm is, dictates what my force is going to be.
Right.
It has to be precise.
Right.
So I take that minute of time where you angle the table and you're precise, your body mechanics to make it happen. But that's how I get a really good, solid adjustment, because I know, because I learned from the master that taught everybody how to do it, and other chiropractors don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
so it makes me a unique person in that sense, so I know how my angles work.
Right, your office is like an airport. It really is constantly full, people coming in, people making appointments. So my dad always used to say, if the restaurant is full, it's because the food is good, right? So same thing with anything, you know. So now, what are the common injuries you deal with in your world? What's the most common thing that people?
So believe it or not, after COVID, I'm seeing a lot of kids nowadays. Yeah, a lot of people with sciatic, low back, headache, bad posture, because as the COVID happened, when Zoom happened, people work from home now.
Right.
And so now they're sitting constantly.
Okay.
And so half my battle, to be honest, the way I believe is the number one disease in America is it's mental disease. It's what's in the head. It's when somebody puts something in your head, like a diagnosis that you might not have it, because then I prove it, and now you manifest that diagnosis, now you create that diagnosis, now you live with a diagnosis. I mean, I literally just had a 21-year-old kid that had arthritis. Well, he doesn't. I know what it looks like. But now because somebody put it in there, he became like alcoholic, and so now he drinks every day because he's like depressed. So now I'm trying to get out of that.
Right.
So it's like, no, listen, you don't have anything. Relax.
You're good.
Right. So I think the biggest thing with COVID, what happened is people are solidified confined space.
Also commercials that tell you, do your legs tingle? Maybe you need this. Talk to your doctor, and they're constantly pushing drugs and things. Does your hand twitch every half an hour? Maybe you need this. Maybe it's this.
Yes.
And you're like, what are these people doing?
And another thing I want to say is not everybody has time and place. Medicine has time and place in the world. Okay, and sometimes I can't do it. I've referred people out for medicine surgeries, and I have. But you got to know your limitations.
Right.
And so medicine has a part to it to help with the pain. I use pain management a lot. Sometimes I can't fix you. You need some inflammation. You need to get it out. So there's a boundary of that.
Right.
So I think there's a time and place, but I think we live in a quick fix society.
Yes, self-gratification is huge.
Right. And then when people come to me, they're like the very bottom. They tried injections, this and that. Now I got to bring them back up.
Right.
I was like, listen, it's going to take time.
Right.
They want a magic wand, just one visit and fix it.
They want
the problem is there for 20 years. I can't fix that in one visit. So educating that part of it makes, I think, we need to do a better job diagnosing, listening to the patient. That's what the article says, listening heals.
Right.
Because 97 problems of you having in the body, it's basically, it's there. Answer's there, what you tell me, and I can figure it out.
Right.
So that's why sometimes the first visit should be just listen. Just listen to the patient, let them talk.
Right.
And you can find the answer, what they're looking for, and you can help that patient. So.
Yeah, when I went to you the first time, I had a lot of, I was all to death, you know. But even when you take your car to mechanic, it takes a while. They don't do it unless it's an oil change. Anything else, you know, things have to be checked, and one thing affects another thing, et cetera, et cetera.
I do use the car as an example a lot. So sometimes my patient I ask, like, why does a Honda last longer than an Audi or Mercedes, right?
Right.
Why does it? Is it Audi and Mercedes is a better car? That's why you pay that much money.
Right.
The reason Honda, Toyota lasts longer because it's very easy to maintain at a dealership.
Right.
When the bill goes high, 75,000 miles on an Audi, and you get a bill for 10,000, like, but let's just go to Midas and fix it.
Right.
That's your medicine cabinet.
Right.
So that's when you're going for a quick fix to get it going. Well, that
Right.
God could give you a 500,000 miles,
Right.
but you just gotta maintain it.
Yes.
But that's the same with the body. Body has no spare parts. So you have to maintain that spare part. It's just a quality of life at the end.
Well, you know, someone said something the other day that really had me thinking. He said, in nature, death comes with stiffness.
Yes.
And when flowers die, they become stiff. Because everything that dies, and even we, you know, rigor mortis at the end. So the way not to be stiff is to keep moving.
Just oil change.
Yes.
Just literally.
Yes, it's to keep
It's just
moving.
get an oil change, get it adjusted, because we live in a society.
The Chinese tend to say, if you're moving, you're not going to die.
Right.
And you see, I remember being in, it was Shanghai. It was before the China boom. China was still Mao's China. But I remember one morning, it was like 5 in the morning, I heard this, and I'm like, these big speakers, and I'm like, so I go to the window and I open these old shutters. There's literally thousands of people doing Tai Chi in the streets, over the bridges, all in synchronicity. I was like, wow, this is like, am I awake? Is this a dream? And so that is very much...
It is. The one best advice I can give anybody, and I tell all my patients, if the key to ageness, or whatever you want to call it, is your morning routine. If you have your morning routine, that's what starts your day. Whether it's meditation, whatever you do, walking, whatever, you gotta have an hour to your time, to your body, to your mind, to your thoughts, in order to reflect the rest of the day. And if you take care of that, it adds up over the years.
Oh, wow.
And then you can think clearly, because you have, now we live in constant noise. Everybody has little AirPods everywhere you go.
Oh my God, yes. People who wake up with this, go with this, there's never the mind.
It's never rest.
Never rest.
Now the new age is, like my 4-year son, I take his Wi-Fi away. He doesn't know what to do himself.
Right.
I'm playing a board game with her. That's what I would do.
Right, well I remember when I was young, I would sit in the back of a car and just look out the window on this long ride, and my mind would just, who knows where I was. But now everybody just needs the noise constantly.
That's why I feel like morning routine, if you have a morning routine, whether it's to yourself, or you drink coffee outside, or watch nature, you just gotta have a time to connect with your body. And if you do that, you will have less problem in the future. Because you know the answers within you. It just, you gotta figure it out. You just gotta talk to it. And it takes time to get to the subconscious level for you to talk to it.
Okay.
But if you do that, man, you'll be.
Okay, we're running out of time, so I have one more question. Now it's called Monahan.
Yeah.
But I went in and where's Monahan? Where's Monahan?
I'm
You're
Monahan.
Now why are you Monahan?
I kept the name because he built a legacy in St. Augustine. He's been the oldest chiropractor in St. Augustine, and I don't want to take that legacy. And I promised him that if I were to take his office over, I'll carry his name out for another 25 years.
Wow.
Make it 75 years. So we're at 53 now. So I'm like, I got a long ways to go. But I kept the name because of reputation. He built a reputation. I want to take that away from me. And the name doesn't matter. You can call me Joe Small. As long as I can do my job and serve the community and make you feel better, educate. That's all I care.
Yes, education is very important.
Education is very important, and that's why I educate.
Well, if you see his face and these things, you know now who he is, what he does, and he's very good at it. And so I thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for adjusting us and putting us in time.
I'll be in the back.
Yeah,
adjusting people.
Stay right there. We're coming now, closing with the Raisin Cake Orchestra one more time. And hope you come to our next show, which is going to be an amazing show next week, celebrating Venice, Italia, parlare italiano during the show, yes? So we'll have a great time. Thank you again. Let's give him another hand.
Thank you so much.
Welcome Raisin Cake Orchestra. I leave you with the Raisin Cake Orchestra. want to thank all our guests. I want to thank the Raisin Cake Orchestra. You know, when I called John, he had been on my 3rd season, Rock the House, and I said, let me call to see if he'd be on my 6th season. I said, John, and he said, he didn't even let me finish anything. I said, John, and he said, yes, we will. And so I thank you. I thank you. Thank you. And thank you. See you next week. God bless you. Drive carefully.